My beloved child, the storm in your heart is not random. It is a battle for your faith. The enemy does not roar, he whispers. He plants doubt like a seed, waiting for it to quietly pull you away from me, inch by inch, until you no longer notice the distance. Do not be deceived. This is not just emotion. It is a strategy designed to steal your destiny. Stay with me until the very end of this word, because what I reveal here will expose the lies, break the chains, and decide whether you walk in truth or sink in silence. This is a carefully arranged sequence. The enemy does not strike hard. He strikes subtly. He doesn't shatter faith. He lets it erode drop by drop, seeping into the smallest cracks of your mind. And then you wonder, why have I drifted so far from you? He knows how to plant a single question in your heart and wait. He doesn't need to press you. He only needs to plant it at the right moment. When you're hurt, disappointed, or waiting for a promise that hasn't yet come to pass, he doesn't attack head-on. He only needs to get you to quietly withdraw from me, inch by inch. By the time you realize a distance has formed, it is one you built with unattended doubts, not one that I created. So today, I want you to pause and look closely. What you are going through is not random. It is not just a passing emotion, nor is it an unnamed hard season. It is a strategy, a trap, a carefully crafted structure designed to pull you away from me by causing you to question the truth, forget my words, and begin to believe that you must fight alone, protect yourself, and survive on your own. My beloved, I see the questions in your heart that you do not dare to speak. You hide them behind smiles and memorized prayers, but I still hear the whisper of your soul. Is it true, Lord? Are you truly good? Are you really here? Do not be ashamed for asking. I do not rebuke you for doubting, but I grieve when you keep it to yourself and let it sink deeper. Because doubt, when hidden from the light, grows silently like weeds. It does not crash like thunder. It seeps like cold water, slowly extinguishing the fire of faith within you. You are not being attacked because you are useless, but because you bear my image. And truth is the first thing he seeks to distort. For when you stand firmly in truth, you do not merely survive. You walk in authority. But if you begin to doubt what I have spoken, you will hesitate. Like Peter on the water, when his eyes left me and focused on the waves, that was when he began to sink. The storm didn't defeat him. His gaze turning away from me did. That is the enemy's oldest strategy, and he still uses it today. You ask me, how can I know what's true when my heart is in turmoil? I tell you this, truth is not based on emotion. It does not change with the seasons. Your feelings may say I am far, but truth says I am near. Your emotions may tell you I am silent, but truth assures you I am listening. When you anchor your life to feelings, you are like a boat adrift with no sail. But if you anchor yourself to what I have spoken, you will stand firm no matter how fierce the storm, even when your emotions lag behind. My child, whenever doubt arises, don't be afraid, but do not befriend it either. Don't let it sit too long at your table. It may begin speaking like an understanding companion, but it has come to tear my word from your heart. Every time it whispers, "Did God really say that?" Respond with what I have said. Learn to speak truth, even when your heart still trembles. That is not pretending, that is faith. And faith does not require the agreement of your feelings, only a response of obedience. I do not require you to have a faith that never doubts, but I invite you to bring those doubts to me. Do not walk away when you're confused. Come closer. Ask, cry out, open your heart, because I am a father, not a judge of your faith. I know the fractures in your heart. I see that your doubt does not come from rebellion, but from past wounds. And I am not ashamed of your weakness. I want to step into it, not to judge, but to heal. My beloved child, I know there are moments when your soul feels like a stormy sea. Everything becomes blurry and uncertain, and you can no longer tell my voice from your own. You seek me in prayer, but all you hear are echoes of anxiety, expectations, and fear. You open the scriptures, but your eyes are clouded by unnamed sorrows. That chaos does not come from me. I am not the author of confusion. I am the God of peace, of clarity. But I also know that when the outside world is too loud and your inner world is too weary, it is easy to believe that I am silent when, in truth, I am whispering ever so near. I do not fault you for your inner disorder. You are not sinful because you feel lost. But I need you to remember this. Emotions are waves, but my word is a rock. Don't let your feelings lead. They may tell you that I've withdrawn my promises, that I've changed my mind, that I'm angry and distant. But child, I do not change like people. I do not promise one day and forget the next. The chaos within you says nothing about my nature. It only shows you're tired and need to be steadied in me. There will be days when everything I've spoken feels like it slips right through your mind, as if the promises have expired, as if the scriptures that once lifted you now feel meaningless. But child, that is when you need to be still the most, because in the chaos, the enemy is masterful at imitating my voice. He will use familiar tones, the voice of emotion, human logic, past pain, to make you believe you are being led. But in truth, he is blending my words with your fears. He knows that if he can cloud your certainty in my voice, he can lead you astray. Not because I have hidden my face, but because you have turned yours away. My little one, when your inner world is in disarray, do not rush to decisions. Do not chase a feeling of peace if it contradicts the truth. Not everything that eases your heart comes from me. True peace is not just comfort. It is the steadiness within when you know you are walking rightly, even when every outward emotion screams otherwise. When you are in me, that peace cannot be shaken by circumstances or moods. It is like an underground stream, quiet, deep, and steady, unaffected by whether the surface sees sunshine or storm. So when your heart is in turmoil, don't try to interpret everything on your own. Come to me, not to find answers, but to find me. Let me hold you before you need direction. Be still in my arms before you rush to do what feels reasonable. I do not need you to conquer your emotions before coming. I only ask that you trust me enough to stay, to listen, and to wait. And in that waiting, you will see clearly. Your emotions may change, but my voice does not. And step by step, I will lead you out of the chaos, place your feet on solid ground, and open your eyes to see. I am still here. I never left. My precious child, I know there are nights when you lie still, but you are not at peace. Your mind spins with what ifs, with what you cannot control, with things you fear might break at any moment. I hear those quiet sighs. I see the anxious eyes, even when your face wears a smile. Fear is no stranger to you. It knocks often on the door of your heart, uninvited, but unwilling to leave. And slowly it begins to whisper, maybe God isn't big enough for this. Maybe he's busy. Maybe he's forgotten you. Fear doesn't just shrink your heart, it distorts my image in your mind. It makes you see me as a distant king, powerful but cold, a father who can do anything but may not want to do it for you. You know I can, but you're not sure I will. And child, it is there, right there in the doubt of my personal love, that fear takes root. It does not just say your problem is too big. It whispers that I am too far, too silent, or too holy to enter the mess you're facing. But my dear one, I have never been far. I am not only the one who reigns. I am the one who came, who wept, who trembled in flesh, who endured the deepest darkness, so you would know that no fear could ever drive me away. I do not despise your weakness. I came to share that burden. Fear tells you to fix everything before drawing near. But I want you to come with all your trembling. Come with your worry. Come when you're not ready. Come even when you feel like you're failing. I don't love you after the fear is gone. I love you in it. Fear is a thief. It steals the peace I've given you. It blurs truth, dims the cross, and convinces you that you are alone. But oh, little one, you have never been alone. Not one day have I stopped being present with you, not even the day you couldn't feel it. Your emotions say I am distant, but the truth is, I am holding your hand. Your feelings say you're about to fall, but the truth is my hand is still beneath you, step by step. It is not you who holds on to me, it is I who hold on to you. So when fear comes again, do not try to drive it out in your own strength. Turn to me. Call my name, even if only in a whisper, even if your heart still hesitates. I do not wait for you to be strong before I love you. I am the strength you need. Let me step into the fear, not to push you past it, but to stay with you in it until true peace wraps around you. And then you will see it's not that I wasn't big enough, it's that fear tried to make me small in your eyes. But I am still who I've always been, the creator of all things, the one who knows you best, and the one who has never taken his eyes off you. Not for one single moment. My beloved child, deception does not always begin with rebellion. It doesn't always wear the face of defiance. Many times, it starts with something as simple as a small step away from truth, a vague agreement, a nod to what seems right, a silence when you were meant to affirm what I have spoken. Most of the times, you go astray. It isn't because you hate me. It's because you've believed in something that didn't come from me. Deception is often disguised in the smallest compromise, and therein lies the danger, when you don't even realize you've agreed. You never deliberately choose deception, but you become accustomed to ignoring it. You silence the alarm within your spirit with the words, "It's probably nothing." You let your emotions guide you instead of letting truth shine its light. And then, little by little, my voice grows faint, not because I stopped speaking, but because you began listening to another voice, softer, more pleasant, more reasonable, but lifeless. That is when you can no longer discern between compromise and faithfulness. I do not blame you for your weakness. But my heart breaks when you start believing wrong is right, only because you're too weary to discern. I know there are times you choose silence to avoid conflict, agreement to preserve peace of mind. But my child, peace built on lies is never true peace. It is merely the quiet of a soul retreating from truth. You are not made to live by convenience, but by the truth I have spoken. And if something contradicts my word, no matter how logical, popular, or easy to accept, it is not truth. He doesn't need you to deny me outright to lead you astray. He only needs you to question what I've taught. He only needs you to start leaning into feelings, into trends, into worldly wisdom. He won't tell you to turn against me. He'll simply invite you to drift a little. But just a little is enough to veer you off course, and an entire life can be led away from me by a fleeting agreement with a lie. So, my child, be awake. Don't be afraid to re-examine what you believe, what you're hearing. what you're choosing. I am not angry when you question. My heart rejoices when you hunger to seek the origin of all things. Let my word be the final standard, not emotion, not circumstance, not the crowd. And if you find you have strayed, return. I do not shut the door. I do not keep a scoreboard to condemn. I open my arms not to recount your mistakes, but to lift you up again with light, with purity, and with a heart softened by truth. My dear child, there are silences within you that you call distance, days when I no longer seem near. You feel as though I have stepped back, grown silent, stopped hearing your weary prayers. And so you begin to conclude, perhaps he no longer loves me as before. Perhaps he doesn't want me close. But my child, I have never changed my place. It was you who stepped back, not with your feet, but with your thoughts, with wounds unhealed, with lies you received when I didn't answer in the way you expected. The distance between us is not a wall I built. It's one you laid brick by brick from disappointment, misunderstanding, hurt, and silence. Every time you said to yourself, maybe he didn't see, maybe he doesn't care, another brick was added. And one day you look around and see me as far away. But I have always been near, just one call away. It's not that I didn't hear, it's that you stopped speaking. Not that I didn't come, it's that you stopped waiting. I know the things that hurt you. I know there are prayers you've lifted for so long with no apparent answer. But I ask you, don't draw conclusions about me based on a confusing season. Don't let temporary silence become a reason to doubt eternal love. Don't let unfulfilled words become your definition of me. If you judge me by your circumstance, you are building your faith on sand. But if you look to the cross, where I chose separation from the Father so you could draw near, you will know that my love never wavers. My child, I have never been far. I was there in your deepest pain. I quietly wiped your tears with my presence even when you felt nothing. I do not need you to feel me in order to act. My love does not depend on your sensitivity, but on my nature, and I am faithful. I am near. I am the one who stays. So if today you feel far away, return. You don't have to climb over the wall you've built. Just turn around and speak your heart. Confess, Lord, I've believed wrongly about you. And at that moment, the distance will vanish because I never left. I've only been waiting for you to reopen the door of your heart, the door that didn't close because of me, but because of the lies you once believed. Oh child, if only you knew how I've watched over you every day, every hour, every unnoticed moment. When your heart trembled in silence, when you bore burdens no one else saw, I was there. I didn't need you to cry out loud for me to hear one sorrowful thought in your mind, and I understood. There were times you walked through life thinking I was far away, but no, I never departed. You thought you were too broken to come close to me. But the cracks in your soul are exactly where I long to dwell. I am the one who formed you with unconditional, limitless, timeless love. That love cannot be earned because it is grace, a gift you can neither buy nor lose. No matter how many times you try to run from me, my love still pursues you, refusing to let you fall into nothingness. I see you when you are strong, and even more so when you fall. But don't think that falling ever changes your value in my eyes. You are still mine, and that will never change. What you're feeling, loneliness, shame, distance, does not reflect the truth about me. It only shows that you are clouded by emotion and lies. I am not far, never far. The space between us wasn't created by me stepping back, but by you turning away, carrying conclusions I never said. Who told you I've forgotten you? Who whispered that I'm tired of your repetition? That was not me. Those words are not mine. They are the mist that hides the true light. I was with you in the room when you cried without a sound. I sat beside you when your head bowed in exhaustion. And I didn't just observe. I carried your pain as if it were my own. You may not feel it, but my presence is covering you like warmth surrounding a cold body. I'm not standing outside your life. I've stepped into it to share, to carry, and to lift you. If you return, you will see I have never stopped reaching for you. Don't let past mistakes keep you from drawing near to me. Don't let silence convince you that I've withdrawn my promises. Everything I've spoken, I will fulfill. I am not limited by time or delay. I know how to bring all things into perfect timing. And when you don't understand, I don't demand understanding. I simply invite trust. Trust that even when you don't see, I am working. Trust that even when things seem delayed, my heart remains urgent for you. There are quiet whispers suggesting you're not good enough, that you must do more to be worthy, pray harder, or try better to meet some standard to be near me. But I do not operate by human standards. I do not measure your soul by performance. My love is not built on what you do, but on who I am. I am love. Not that I have love, but that I am love. Which means even when you have nothing left to offer, when you are empty, I still love. When you fail, when you grow cold, when you doubt, I still love. Not reluctantly, not out of obligation, but with a father's heart broken over your pain, yearning to hold you again. You don't need to understand everything in order to return to me. You only need to do one small thing. Turn back. No need to go far. No need to say it perfectly. No need to explain why. Just return. And when you do, you will find me still there, in the same place where I first called you, where you first responded with childlike faith. I am still standing there, not with a judging eye, not asking where you've been, what you've done, or why it took so long. I simply hold you, like a father who has found his lost child, not to punish, but to restore. And right there, in that place of nearness and broken surrender, I will remind you of what you've forgotten. That you were chosen not because you stood out, but because I love you. That you have value not because of what you possess, but because you are a creation from my breath. That you are forgiven not because you pleaded well, but because my blood was shed long before your sin. That you can walk in peace not because circumstances are perfect, but because my presence within you is your true rest. My child, do not let old wounds dictate your faith today. Do not allow unhealed pain to define the connection between us. I know you have been hurt by others, by yourself, and at times you even believed it was by me. But I am not the one who wounded you. I am the one who longs to heal. If you allow me to enter that place of pain, I will not only soothe it, I will renew it. I will use that very place once broken to pour out love and life to others. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. The scars you carry will one day become marks of grace, signs of hope for those who look upon them and live. So don't be afraid anymore, my child. Don't turn away from me. Don't delay. Let go of what you're clinging to out of fear of losing. Lift your eyes, even if they're filled with tears. I am waiting, not with criticism, but with gentle forgiveness, not with disappointment, but with joy that you are returning. You've never gone too far. You've never been forgotten. You've never been beyond my reach. And today I am calling you with all the love, with all the mercy, with all the tenderness only a father who has loved you forever can give. Beloved child, I know your heart is swirling with questions you dare not voice aloud. You wonder if I still speak, if my voice still echoes, if it's still warm enough to melt through the ice that has formed inside you, if it's still real enough to stir a soul too weary and too disappointed. Let me answer you clearly and without mystery. I have never stopped speaking from the moment you opened your eyes to this life, even through the times you turned your back on me. I have been speaking through many means, in many languages, through circumstances you don't understand, through people you've met by chance, through silent stirrings in your spirit, and through the word I've engraved. You are not a lost child wandering this world in search of fleeting warmth from things that cannot redeem your soul. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are not a burden, nor a disappointment in my eyes. You are mine, the very breath I intentionally breathed into the dust, the dream I cradled before the first sunrise. And even when you strayed and took turns that seemed to sever the bond between us, I walked beside you, never turning away. You may not have felt me, but I have never ceased to be present. There are moments when your heart feels numb, your ears dull to life, and you wonder, maybe God has stopped speaking. Maybe I'm no longer worthy to hear him. But, my child, you don't need to be worthy to hear me. If my love depended on worthiness, then no one would have hope. It is precisely because you are weak that I long to speak. It is because you are weary that I draw near. It is because you are lost that I speak louder than ever before, not to condemn, but to call you back, not to interrogate, but to comfort. You think you have disappointed me. You count the times you gave up, the times you turned away, the times you spoke harsh words to others and even to me. You gather these things as evidence to sentence yourself, to convince yourself that I have turned my back. But my child, I am not the kind who is disappointed in that way. My love is not like a contract that is voided when broken. It is a covenant, eternal, sealed not with ink, but with blood, written with mercy, not cold legality. No matter how many times you fail, my grace does not diminish. You cannot outrun my mercy, because that mercy has no boundaries. There is no distance too far for my reach, no pit deeper than my hand, no desert drier than the water I give. I do not withdraw my words because you were late to respond. I do not shut the door because you hesitated. I do not fume when you return late. I simply rejoice that you want to come back. I've seen you in the sleepless nights when every other voice falls silent, except the voice of accusation echoing in your soul. I've seen you blaming yourself, speaking harshly to yourself, calling yourself names I never once used. Failure, fake, not good enough. You've forgotten that your identity doesn't come from success or failure. It comes from me. You are my daughter, my son, not because you got it right, but because I chose to call you mine. And that name does not change with your emotions or vanish with your stumbles. Do not let the storm inside you drown out my voice. I do not speak through chaos. My voice is the whisper of love, not loud, but full of authority. It can pierce even the thickest walls you've built. If you will be still, if you will pause and breathe, if you will stop running and turn to look, you will realize I have never been silent. I am still speaking through scripture, through quiet nudges, through dreams, through tears, and even through the aching emptiness inside you. For I am the one who not only made ears to hear, I also shape the heart to know it is loved. And now, my child, I invite you to return, not to hear a sermon, but to hear your Father's voice, not to strive to do what's right, but to sit in my presence, where love demands no performance, where you can lay down your mask and simply be who you are in your rawest, most exhausted form. In that place, I will not question your doubts. I will only hold you and say, I never left. And just one moment in that embrace will dissolve the weight you carry. Not because you're strong, but because I am near, and I am enough. My love is not a fleeting encouragement. It is the strength that holds you when you can't hold yourself. It is the grace that carries you through burdens you once thought would break you. And even now, as you read these words, I am still speaking. It is no accident that you are here. It is no coincidence that you are still listening. My spirit is softening your heart to remind you that you have not gone too far, doubted too much, or broken beyond restoration. So come, my child, come with all that you carry, your confusion, your pain, your shame. Sit and listen, not as a stranger, but as one returning home. And I promise if you open your heart, you will hear that voice again, the voice of your Father, still familiar, still gentle, still full of power, the voice you've longed to hear for so many years. And from that place, everything will begin again, not by your striving, but by the love that never stops pursuing. Beloved one, I have followed every step you've taken, when you walked in confidence, and when you quietly withdrew in doubt. I have witnessed the moments when your heart wavered, when you were lost among the voices of the world, when your mind became a battleground of confusion, and you began to question your worth. I did not turn my face when you no longer knew who you were, when you wondered, have I gone too far? Has everything fallen apart beyond repair? You thought I was silent, but what you didn't know was that the silence was not my absence. It was a space I created for you to learn to hear, not with your ears, but with your heart. It was where I planted seeds, not of instant success, but of faith quietly taking root through your waiting and unanswered questions. My child, do not fear the waiting. Do not panic when you see no results. Do not think my silence means you failed to please me. There are things I delay, not out of neglect, but because I am doing something deeper within you. I am teaching you how to believe without seeing, how to stand without needing proof. Because true faith doesn't grow in applause. It roots itself in nights where my word is your only light. And in the dry soil of uncertainty, I am planting what nothing can shake. Faith that stands firm as a rock, unmoved by emotion, unshaken by circumstance. I know you often measure your life by results. You think that only when you are visibly blessed, only when you are strong, only when others approve, are you truly pleasing me. But I do not see as the world sees. I am not looking for crowns on your head. I am searching for faithfulness in hidden places. You measure yourself by praise, by outcomes, by comfort. But I see something else. I see your persistence when no one cheers. I see your silent tears when you still choose gratitude. I see you forgiving when anger would be justified. I see you holding on to faith when there's nothing left to cling to. And oh, my beloved, how that delights me. You often think I'm pleased only with those who never fall. But I draw closest to those who keep coming back even after many falls. I do not measure your love by perfection, but by the heart that keeps turning toward me. And you've done that, slowly, trembling, exhausted. You've come back. You still pray even through choking sobs. You still open my word even when your eyes are blurred. You still say, Lord, I need you, even when doubt clouds your heart. You may not see it as much, but I do. And I treasure every small act of faith like a sweet fragrance rising from your soul. Do you remember who you are? Not the labels others have placed on you, not the toxic whispers in your mind, not the false identities shaped by circumstance. You are not a failure, not a burden, not invisible. You are not too late, and you are not good enough. I have never called you by those names. You are my child. Your name is beloved. Your name is mine. That is the name I whispered over you as I formed you in your mother's womb. Before anyone knew you existed, I called you by name with all the tenderness and power of the Creator. You may have heard other names from the world, from yourself, from the failures you've experienced. But I ask you, let them go one by one. Let me remind you who you truly are. Let me wash away every false belief, every distorted image the enemy has built within you. Because you are not defined by what has happened. You are shaped by the one who made you. And that one, who is me, has declared that you are my masterpiece, my precious creation, my jewel held in my hand. You do not need to strive for my love, for you have never lost it. Wherever you go, no matter how many mistakes you carry, the truth remains unchanged. You belong to me. I am where you began, and I am where you can always return. There is no mistake too great, no doubt too deep that would cause me to abandon you. I am the Father who remains even when everyone else walks away. And today, once again, I call your name, not in anger, but with a tender love that has never run dry. So, my child, remember this. It is not clarity that strengthens faith. It is trust in the midst of darkness that nourishes the soul. Do not fear the silent seasons. Do not despise the days that feel unclear. For it is there that faith is forged. It is there that hope is planted. And it is there that I, the one who never ceases to love, am working in the deepest places, preparing you for something far greater than what your eyes can yet perceive. You are not lost. You may have wandered, yes, but you are not forsaken. You have never been out of my sight, never slipped beyond my heart. And when you are ready to return, you will discover I never left. Today I still wait. Not because I need you, but because I love you. Not to scold, but to embrace. Not to rehearse old faults, but to lead you into a new beginning. For you are mine, and that will forever be true. My beloved, come home. Not because guilt is weighing you down, not because shame clouds your mind, but because I, the one who waits, am perfect mercy. My love does not demand you cleanse yourself before coming near. I have not built a wall between us for you to scale. I tore it down myself with my own blood. I am not searching for a flawless child. I long for a true heart, one that, though cracked, still yearns to return. O child, repentance is not a punishment. It is a bridge. It doesn't begin with fear, but with remembrance. Remembering that I am still your Father. That true peace is not found in control or in the approval of others, but in my arms. I do not take life from those who come close in pain. I give more life when you dare to be honest about your wounds. I do not gaze with judgment when you bow your head. I lift your face with eyes full of love and say, you are mine. I do not hold in my hands a list of your failures to shame you. My hands are open to receive, to hold, to lift you from where you've fallen. You may see yourself as wreckage, as failure, as someone with nothing left to offer. But oh child, I still call you beautiful, not because you are unbroken, but because it is in the breaking that my grace can seep deepest. The fragments you try to hide, I do not fear them. The ashes you wish to bury, I have not forgotten. With my hands from dust, I will raise something radiant. You may think parts of your life were wasted, years you'd rather forget, choices you wish you hadn't made, roads you regret ever walking. But child, in my hands, nothing is wasted. No path is meaningless when I am the one rewriting the story. Even the years the locusts seem to devour, I can redeem them, not to restore them to what they were, but to make them new, better, deeper, full of purpose. I know every wound that broke your heart, every loss, every betrayal, every dream that died and was buried in silence. I know what you've never spoken, not even to yourself. I know the pain that has no words and the silence that stretches like a canyon. But I do not only know, I carry it. I bear it. And I promise you, not one tear falls without meaning. Not one ache is beyond my power to transform. I am the restorer, not a mere fixer of what is broken, but the creator who begins again something new, something beautiful, something eternal. I do not patch together shattered dreams with glue. I recreate. I do not mend old hopes. I plant in you new ones, greater than anything you once dared to believe. All you need is to come. Bring the burden, the doubt, the weariness, and I will give you rest. Not just a moment's ease, but deep rest for your soul, where you can simply be and know you are loved. I do not restore so things can return to what they were. I restore so that things become as I always intended, holy, whole, unchained by shame, error, or fear. I make all things new, not just because I can, but because I want you to fully experience the beauty of grace. Not just to survive the pain, but to walk out of it with your head high, knowing that it was there in the deepest place that I met you and changed you from within. So come, my child. Don't wait until you feel worthy. Don't wait until you feel strong. Come in your weakness. Come in your struggle. Come while your heart still trembles. I do not love you after you overcome. I love you while you are still wrestling. And that love is what will lead you out of the shadows. I am the one who turns mourning into dancing. I am the one who brings blooms to the desert. I am not only God in your victories, I am God even in the defeat that seems final. You cannot fall beyond my grasp if your heart still longs to return. There is no place too far, no mistake too heavy, no loss I cannot redeem, no dream entirely dead if I am still the one who calls your name. So return to me, not out of fear of what might happen if you don't, but because of the wonder that unfolds when you do. For I am waiting, not with the question, why did you do it? But with the loving whisper, I'm still here. And you will know in that moment, restoration is no longer a dream. It is a living reality born in the embrace of my mercy. That love, dear child, will never leave you. My beloved child, I know you carry wounds without names, words you've never spoken, pains you only sigh out in the dark. I know, for I was there. I did not only see your tears, I felt each one fall. I did not merely witness the hurt, I bore it as my own. I have never been a silent spectator to your pain. I am the one who entered into it, who walked it with you, who never turned away even when you did. Yes, your wounds are real. I do not deny your pain, belittle it, or tell you to be stronger. I embrace it. But child, my healing is even more real. It does not merely cover the surface, it reaches the deepest breaking of your soul. It does not hide, it resurrects. I did not come to whitewash your cracks. I came to rebuild you from the core. I do not heal you to make you fine. I heal you so you may live, truly live in the purpose I intended for you all along. I know your night has been long. At times you've thought you'd never come out of it, that light was for someone else, someone better, steadier, holier. But let me tell you, my dawn is not for the perfect, but for the broken who dared to hope. And you have hoped, even in trembling, even when you could barely breathe, you waited. I see that. And because of it, morning will come, not loud and blazing, but quiet and sure, creeping into every corner where darkness once reigned. You are not forgotten. Not for a second have I stopped thinking of you. Even if the world turns away, even if applause fades, I still call your name with the same voice that whispered it as I formed every cell within you. My love does not shake when you doubt. It does not retreat when you are weary. It does not withdraw when you hesitate. My plan is not erased by your pause. I am patient, and what you call delay is my hand arranging all things for your good. You see only part of the story, the messy beginning, the tangled middle, but I am writing the ending, a conclusion no one can predict and nothing can stop. The enemy thought he had won when you fell, but I am using that very fall to glorify my name. Nothing is wasted with me. Not even failure, not even regret, not even the chapters you wish never existed. I turn ashes into beauty. I take brokenness and lay a foundation that cannot be shaken. I am composing a new song, and you, my child, are the instrument I have chosen. You do not need to see the whole path. I don't ask that of you. I only invite you to take the next step. However small, however slow, just step, and I will be there. When you feel weak, I will be your strength. When you can't see the way, I will be your light. When you can't hear anything, I will patiently repeat every word. Never angry, never rushing, never forcing. My spirit is not distant. It is within you. Closer than breath, clearer than your own thoughts. You are not alone. You are not empty. You are my beloved dwelling place. I am your father, and no true father abandons his child. You may feel small, but I have planted eternity in your heart. Your breath is my gift of life. Your conscience bears my image. Even the quiet dreams you've never voiced, I know them all. And no, you are not ordinary. You are formed by a mighty hand, marked with the signature of heaven. Every part of you is intentional. Nothing in you is wasted. Even the parts you see as weakness, I can use them to reveal my power. You may think you are slow, that others have moved far ahead while you still stumble through ruins and fear, but I do not measure time as man does. I do not value speed the way the world does. You are in my appointed time. You are not late, not lost, not left behind. You are right where I am working deeply in your heart. I am never in a rush with what I treasure. Every true structure is built on a foundation, and I am laying a firm one, so what I build in you cannot be shaken by the storms of this world. My child, do not be afraid. Do not run. Do not hesitate any longer. My arms are still open. My heart still waits. My eyes still search for you, not to judge, but to love. If you return, you will not find disappointment in my gaze. You will find the burning eyes of a father who has never stopped loving you. I call you not only to comfort, but to raise you up. Not only to heal, but to give you purpose. Not only to forgive, but to empower. Because you are not just saved, you are chosen. So rise, my child. The night is over, dawn is coming, and I am walking with you. Every step, every minute, every breath, I am the faithful one, and I never fail. Not with you, not ever. My beloved child, pause for a moment. Pause amidst the noise in your heart, amidst the thoughts that battle endlessly within. Be still. Because right now, in this very moment, I want you to hear my voice, not as a fleeting whisper, but as a truth etched into your soul. I am speaking not with shouts, but with a gentle strength that silences every voice of shame. The voices that once told you were not enough, that you ruined everything, that you would never be loved for who you truly are. But now, let my voice drown out all others. Let the voice of grace reach the deepest place in your heart, the place where you've hidden wounds, unnamed shames, and regrets that have never been spoken. I am lifting the burden you've carried for far too long, the regrets that have weighed down your shoulders. I see them. The sleepless nights when you replayed old mistakes like verdicts. I sat beside you, not to condemn, but to silently take your hand. I do not define you by what you did wrong. I define you by what I did right. And the right thing I did was choose you. Not after you had fixed everything, not when you had improved, but in the midst of your confusion, your stumbling, your not yet understanding what it means to be loved unconditionally. It was in that moment that I called your name. And today I call again, not with the names the world once put on you. Not abandoned, not failure, not weak. I declare over you a new name, a name not born of your effort, but from eternal wisdom and everlasting love. That name is chosen, loved, redeemed, made whole. You are not a broken half trying to be pieced back together. In me, you are whole, not because you are perfect, but because my grace is enough to fill every empty space in you. My word once spoken never returns void. It does not stop halfway. It does not fall to the ground and vanish. It carries the power to change everything, even you. So you don't need to strive to be worthy of what I give. No one could ever be worthy of grace. If they could, it would no longer be grace. I give not according to what you do, but according to my heart. My grace is your inheritance. No one can steal it, and you cannot lose it through weakness. This inheritance is not just forgiveness. It is the right to live, to rise, to walk in freedom, no longer chained to your past. I've seen how your heart has longed for affirmation, and you sought it in the applause of others, in admiring glances, in achievements, in relationships that promised to fill the void. But after each pursuit, what you found was an emptiness that only grew deeper. Not because you were wrong to desire acceptance, but because you looked for it in sources that could never give what your soul truly needs. You were not made to live by the praise of people. You are not designed to run on the shifting standards of this world. You were created to live by one source alone, my word. My word is not like the fleeting words you've heard. It does not shift with moods. It is not influenced by your failures. My word is a firm foundation. When everything shakes, it stands unshaken. And I today am repeating an old word that you need to hear again as if new. You are enough. Not because you got it right, but because I, the one who lives in you, am your sufficiency. I did not choose you because you were strong. I chose you to show my strength through you. I did not love you because you were lovable. I loved you to show you your worth. My love is not built on what you do, but on who I am. Let your feet stand on that foundation, not on the sinking sand of emotions or opinions. Let your heart rest in the truth that you do not have to compete to be loved. You are already loved. You don't have to perform to be seen. I have already seen you, and nothing, no one, no past can change that truth. With each new day, I still look at you, not with scrutiny, but with the eyes of a father rejoicing that you are still alive, still searching, still longing to draw near to me. You don't have to wait until you're better, stronger, or closer to come back. I invite you to return now, in the confusion, in the brokenness, in the self-blame. And when you come back, you will not find a cold house. You will find arms open wide. You will see light, not blinding, but warming. You will find me not just as Almighty God, but as your Father. And I am still calling you by your true name, the one I love. My precious child, stop the inner striving. Let go of the things you keep trying to control. I know you're tired. I see how long you've tried to hold it all together, pretending to be okay while inside you're a hollow wilderness in need of a true anchor. So my child, come. You don't need to prepare anything. You don't need polished prayers. Just enter my presence as you are, weak, confused, and honest. Let the noise in your mind be silenced, the noise of unmet expectations, of lingering failure, of accusations echoing from the past. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. Let all pressure melt away like mist, and let your soul find rest here in me. You don't have to perform, don't have to pretend. I am not moved by what you show on the outside. I am moved by what is most real, your heart, even if it's weary, trembling, and silent in exhaustion. I see it, I understand it, and more than anything, I treasure it. You think you have to be perfect for me to care. But I never asked for perfection. I asked for you, not the healed version, not the strong one, not the one who has it all figured out, but you in the middle of the questions, the uncertainties, the unknowns. You're asking me, what's next? But I am asking you a question in return. Can you trust me right now in this uncertainty? I'm not asking you to understand the whole journey, just to place your hand in mine, trusting that I will never let you wander alone. You don't need a map to find peace. You just need me. And I'm not far. I'm here in this very moment. Not silent, not distant. I'm speaking, not through storms, but through nearness. Gentle, steady, unshakable. I love you. I have never stopped loving you. That love doesn't change with seasons, doesn't fade with time, doesn't tremble when you do. That love doesn't need maintenance. It is the very life source sustaining you. And nothing, not the past, not failure, not even your moments of doubt, can break it. Lift up your head, my child, not because you have something to prove, but because I want you to see my face. Open your heart, even just a crack. Call my name, even if it's only a whisper, even if your lips tremble, even if your tears haven't dried, I am listening. I have always been listening. There hasn't been a single moment I turned my attention away. And now I declare clearly, nothing, no failure, no sin, no confusion can separate you from my love. My love is not fragile. It is not swayed by anger or moods. It is not a thread that snaps when you falter. It is a flame that burns away every accusation, purifies every stain, and warms every frozen place in your heart. It is a refuge when you need shelter. It is a war horse that rides out at the sound of your cry. It is the arms that still open wide even after all your detours. You don't need to do anything special today. You just need to return, not to a religion, not to a ritual, but to me. Sit with me, talk, cry if you must, be silent if you must, just be present. Because when you are present with me, you will know I never left you. Not once, not for a second, and from that place you will be healed. Not by formulas, but by me, the source of life, of truth, and of love that never fails. You belong to me. Not because you hold on tight to me, but because I hold on to you. And my hands do not tremble. My heart does not change. My covenant does not break. My love does not grow weary. Even if you feel distant, disappointed, or unsure, my love still pursues, still protects, still waits. and still calls you by your true name, my beloved child. My child, do not think that I have sent you into battle unprepared. Do not let the confusing days deceive you into thinking you are alone. I never place you in the midst of trial and leave you bare before the claws of the enemy. On the contrary, I myself have clothed you with spiritual armor, not the kind that rusts with time, nor weapons forged by human hands, but the armor of truth, given from the depths of my own heart. These are not mere adornments, they are your protection, your strength, and my way of keeping you standing firm in storms that seem impossible to weather. You are not like Eve, standing before the serpent with uncovered ears and a heart untouched by the sting of defeat. You have something she never did, the full revelation of a victory already won. You have the Word, not as a religious concept, but as a sword forged from my own mouth, sharper than any blade, cutting through every lie, piercing even the most subtle whispers of darkness. When my son was in the wilderness, dry, hungry, and vulnerable, he did not summon supernatural power to dismiss the tempter. He needed only one thing, the Word. It is written, and those few words alone caused Satan to flee. And my child, if the Holy One chose to fight with the Word, how much more must you know this is the way to survive? Not through emotions, not through intellect, not through willpower, but through the Word. Because my Word is not merely a message. It is my essence. Truth is not an abstract idea, truth is me. I am the way, the truth, and the life. When you cling to truth, you are clinging to me. When you proclaim the truth, you are letting me fight through you. And when you hold fast to the truth, no storm can uproot you from eternal life. Your enemy has no true authority. He possesses only deception. He has no kingdom, only a voice. A whisper that plants doubt, inflates fear, and paints distorted images of me in your mind. But my child, you are no longer bound by darkness. I have given you discernment, not through education, but by revelation. Your eyes need no longer be blind to his schemes. Your ears no longer must listen without recognizing what is real and what is false. You can discern. You can resist. You can stand not by your own strength, but because I am standing within you. When you declare it is written, you are not casting a spell. You are calling forth the truth. And truth does not need to shout to carry authority. It simply is, and all falsehood must bow before it. When you proclaim my word, even with a trembling voice, heaven hears. Darkness trembles. The enemy retreats, not because your voice is loud, but because my word is alive. Each time you choose truth over lies, you reclaim holy ground in your mind. Every time you repeat what I have spoken, you are building a fortress in the chaos of this world. Do not underestimate what you hold in your hands. Do not think my word is outdated or irrelevant. It transcends time. It does not grow old. It does not expire. It is a sacred fire that never dies. And I have placed it within you. That is why you were not consumed by the whirlwind. That is why what should have broken you could not keep you down. There is something in you, or rather, there is someone who is holding you up. Not your own resilience, but the presence that abides within you. So do not merely keep my word as a book. Eat it, chew it. Let it become your thoughts, your speech, your heartbeat. Write it upon the gates of your heart, so when darkness knocks, you will not scramble to search, because the word is already ready on your lips. You do not need to be a scholar, only one who remembers it is written, and that is enough to make you stand. Because when you stand on what I have spoken, all of heaven stands with you. The enemy will keep trying. He is not easily discouraged, but his schemes never change. He reuses the same tactics from the beginning. He knows how to suggest doubt, stir fear, and provoke a sense of lack. But I am eternal, and what I have spoken, I am still speaking. What I began in you, I will complete. Your weapons do not rust. The sword of truth in your hand is not dull. When you know what you carry and know the one who gave it to you, no force can defeat you. Remember, you do not go into battle alone. I am the one who goes before you. I am the one behind you. I am the one who fights for you. But I also invite you into partnership, not by strength, but by the word. You have only one charge. Do not drop the sword. Do not drop my word. Do not let silence, fear, or weariness seal your mouth. Open it, speak, declare, and I will do the rest. For I am the truth. And if you are in me, you do not merely carry the word. You are a living witness to the victory the enemy cannot deny. My beloved child, you are not someone groping through the dark, grasping for light. You are one whom the light has called by name, whom life has embraced, whose victory has been etched in the blood of the Lamb. You do not fight hoping to win. You are walking from a victory already secured. My sacrifice on the cross did not merely forgive your sins, but strip the enemy of all power over you. The head of the ancient serpent has been crushed, not by your blade, but by my eternal triumph. All he has left is a hollow roar, desperately using lies to make you forget what has already been decided. You must know this. He cannot take what I have given unless you place your agreement upon his words. All the power he has begins with your yes to what is not true. When you begin to say, maybe I'm not lovable, maybe I've been abandoned, maybe the promise no longer stands, in that moment you open a door to darkness in a room it holds no key for. So my child, do not agree. Do not echo his whispers. Fill your mouth with my word. Let my truth flow like living water, washing away the dust of doubt and the cobwebs of distorted emotion. Learn to rise, not by feeling, but by faith. When the enemy throws accusations at you, respond with what I have declared. I am the righteousness of God in Christ. When he reminds you of the past, you remind him of the cross. When he tells you you're alone, declare, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Truth is not what you feel, it is what I have spoken. And what I have spoken does not shift with the weather of human hearts. It is a word as solid as bedrock, the root anchoring your soul in a stormy sea. But you are not called to fight alone. I did not create you to wander solitary in the wilderness. I, who designed communion, have placed you in a body, a community, a spiritual family, not for dependency, but for protection, for mutual strength, for truth to be repeated when you forget who you are. Isolation is where darkness kindles false fires, whispers seemingly reasonable words that rob me of my nature. He murmurs in solitude, drips deceit in silence, and when you hesitate to speak, when shame binds your lips, he tightens the grip, convincing you no one understands, no one helps, no one hears. But that is not truth. So I plead with you, break that silence. Confess, not to be judged, but to be freed. Speak what you carry. Let the light come in. Darkness cannot endure where truth and love dwell. And when you dare to open your heart to others who walk in my light, you will see you are not alone. Other voices will speak for you when you are weary. They will remind you of what you once knew but forgot. They will say, you are chosen, you are loved, you are restored. And their words, rooted in truth, will melt the heavy ice that is formed in your heart. My child, in the spiritual battle, silence in the wrong place is the ally of darkness. But confession at the right moment is the doorway to freedom. When you have no strength left, let others carry you to the place of prayer. When you cannot sing, let them sing for you. When your words fail, let the community I placed around you speak life over your soul. This is why I established the church, not as an event, but as a refuge, an army, a real embrace in a broken world. So rise, not by your own power, but by the strength of the one who called you out of darkness. Let your mouth overflow with words of life. Let your mind be guarded by what I have promised. And let your heart be sheltered in the bond with those I've placed beside you. Remember, the enemy fears not the isolated, silent, self-reliant ones. He fears those who walk in truth, unified, unashamed, unyielding to lies. You are not as weak as you think. You are wrapped in the victory I won. And when you know that, when you live in that, no power can touch your true identity in me. So walk, speak, connect, declare, for you do not fight to win. You fight from victory, and that victory is eternal. Therefore, my beloved child, remember this. You do not fight as one without hope. You do not resist the darkness with anxiety, nor must you strike back with fear. Do not panic, for panic is not your weapon. Your weapon is the peace that comes from me, a peace unshaken, unbroken by circumstance or emotion. That peace is the seal that shows you belong to a kingdom that cannot be shaken. When you stand in peace, you stand in me. And in that place, the enemy has no ground to sow fear. He will try to make you believe you are losing, that you are not strong enough, not good enough, not spiritual enough. But, my child, look closely. He holds no true authority over you. His lies echo only when you listen. But when you stand firm in truth, not an opinion, but eternal truth from me, he has no space to enter. Truth is not merely an argument. It is the unshakable foundation on which you can place your whole life. Let that truth be your belt, holding every thought, decision, and emotion to the unchanging reality that you are loved, redeemed, and preserved. Do not try to protect your heart with hardened shells of self-defense. Clothe yourself with the breastplate of righteousness. Not a righteousness you created, but mine, given freely through the perfect sacrifice on the cross. That righteousness is not only forgiveness, it is the solid ground on which you now stand in me. When the enemy comes with accusations, that righteousness is your reply. No argument needed, no defense required. Simply this: I am called righteous, not because I deserve it, but because the righteous one has called my name. Put on the shoes of the gospel of peace. My child, you will need them for every step ahead, not to run away, but to walk steadily without trembling. These shoes are crafted to pass through fire, to tread amidst battle, to walk on thorns. The gospel is not only good news for others, it is good news for you every single day. Believe that you not walk alone, that every step carries a message of life, and that wherever your feet touch can become holy ground when you carry my presence there. Raise the shield of faith, my child, not as a blind hope, but as a protection forged from the very words I have spoken. Faith is not a fleeting feeling. It is a repeated choice that I am faithful, that my word never returns void, that even when you don't yet see, what I've promised is still drawing near. When the flaming arrows come, arrows of doubt, self-condemnation, fear of abandonment, lift the shield. Don't analyze the arrow. Don't measure the burn. Just hide beneath the shield and know that I am your fortress. And above all, do not let go of the sword. Take up my word, not as a religious book, but as a living weapon, sharp, agile, and full of power. Speak the word. Let your lips be filled with what I have declared. for the sword only strikes when it is used. When you speak, darkness must retreat, not because your voice is loud, but because my word is never empty. Every verse is a slash into the dominion of shadow. Every scripture you proclaim is a reminder to the enemy that he has already lost, and you are walking in the victory declared from the cross. He may roar like a lion, but do not fear, for I am the Lion of the tribe of Judah, and my roar is greater. He may threaten, accuse, and paint false pictures of your future, but I have the final word. I am the beginning and the end. Every other voice will fade, only mine will remain. He may remind you of your failures, but I remind you of the covenant. He may accuse, but I have declared you are righteous, not because you defend yourself, but because I shed blood to redeem you. Not because you are worthy, but because my love is unconditional. Do not fear his schemes. He is only a shadow without substance. Don't be deceived by the volume of his voice or his threats. He has already been defeated. The power he wields is an illusion, borrowed from the agreement of those who don't know they have authority from me. But you, my precious child, you are not nameless in this battle. You are an heir, robed in radiant armor, a child of the King. The breath in your lungs is the breath of the Spirit. The spiritual blood in you is blood that conquered death. He is temporary. He has only a limited time, but you belong to me. You are eternal. You are marked by my word, sealed by my Spirit, sheltered by my hand, and empowered to walk not as one who flees, but as one who takes territory. You are mine, not just today, not only when you feel strong, but every day, even on your weakest. So rise up, my child, not to strive, but to stand. Not to prove anything, but to walk in what has already been given. Not to win, but from the victory I have already secured. Everything you need, you already have. Every weapon I have already placed in you, and I who called you, who fights for you, who never retreats, I am still here. Walk forward, not in fear, but in authority, not alone, but with me, and I am enough for everything you face. Beloved, the first thing the enemy tries to steal from your heart is peace. He knows that if your mind is in chaos, if your emotions are filled with conflicting voices, you will forget mine. He doesn't need you to fall into great sin. He only needs to distract you from my presence. He only needs to make you feel like you're fighting alone. But child, the peace you have does not come from favorable circumstances. It does not depend on everything going smoothly in your life. It comes from me, and I do not change. This peace is not a fleeting emotion. It is the result of trusting the one who governs the universe and knows every breath in your chest. When you stand in peace, you are standing in a fortress the enemy cannot breach. Do not measure your victory by how you feel. There will be days you feel weak, unsteady, unsure, but that does not mean you have failed. The trembling of your knees does not make me doubt your love. It is in those moments of weakness that you most truly take up the spiritual armor I've given you. You wear the breastplate of righteousness, not when you feel moral, but when you remember that your righteousness comes from the one who gave everything for you. My sword is not sharper when you're confident, and it does not dull when you're shaking. It remains alive, powerful, and ready to drive back the darkness, regardless of your soul's condition. So don't stop fighting, even if your heart can only whisper one verse of Scripture. That alone is a victory. Remember this: the enemy only attacks what he's afraid of losing. If he is concentrating his efforts on you, surrounding your mind with lies, accusations, and fear, it's because you carry something precious. He doesn't waste his energy on those with no impact in my kingdom. He attacks because he knows you are anointed. You are called. You carry my promise for a generation. And what terrifies him most is not your perfection, it's your perseverance. He trembles when you keep standing, when you keep praying, even without feeling, when you choose to believe me. Even when your eyes see nothing, you are not as weak as you think. Your quiet endurance is what makes heaven rejoice and hell tremble. Child, know this. Not a single arrow he fires is random. He watches your habits, your tender places, your unnamed fears. But I, your defender, have already supplied armor without flaw. When you lift the shield of faith, every arrow is blocked. Not because you're quick, but because I measured each one and gave you a shield big enough to withstand them all. Lift it even when your arms are tired. I will strengthen you. I will hold you. That faith doesn't have to sound loud. Sometimes a single sigh from a heart that still trusts me is enough, and I receive it as a sign of victory. When you take up the sword of my word, you do not enter the fight as a victim, but as a warrior. That sword is not just for defense. It's for taking ground, not to harm people, but to expose darkness, break chains, and reclaim what has been stolen. I did not call you to bow your head in defeat. I called you to lift it, not in pride, but in holy confidence that you are walking in the authority of the one who has overcome. Let my word ring from your lips, not just in worship services, but in secret places, in internal battles, in the silence of long nights. The enemy cannot stand when you choose to speak what I have said. And after all of this, remember, you are not fighting to earn my love. You fight because you are already loved. You don't have to win my affection as a prize for faithfulness. My love is the beginning of everything. It is the foundation you stand on, the power you draw from, the reward you receive, all in one. The enemy may whisper that you are a failure, but I have declared that you are victorious. He may remind you of your past, but I have given you a future. He may craft fear, but I am your peace, and you, my precious child, are mine, called, protected, and prepared for a victory that no one can take from you. My beloved child, O little one, whom I have cherished through countless storms. Listen closely. I do not call you a survivor, for you are not merely one who has escaped destruction. Your name in me is not a reminder of something fragile, nor proof that you barely slipped past the edge of death. No, my child, I call you an overcomer, for in every heartbeat within you and every breath you still draw, there is already my life. There is already the seal of victory inscribed. You overcome not by your own strength, nor because you are stronger than others, but because my very power is at work in your life, every second, every moment, even in times you did not perceive it. The dark years you endured, the nights you sat in an empty room, tears falling, heart drowning in questions, when the heavens seemed silent without an answer, those were never proof of my absence. On the contrary, those very nights of shadow were the clearest testimony that my grace was sustaining you, that I had placed invisible hands beneath your trembling steps so you would not collapse. Without me, without my hand, mighty and tender, you would have shattered long ago. But by my grace, you are not only unbroken, you have been preserved, healed, and transformed from within. My child, there were times you thought I was not there, that I had turned away and left you to struggle alone. But look again. Remember carefully those moments when you thought you could not go on, yet you did. Recall the times when your heart ached as if it could never rise again, yet you stood. It was I who was there. It was I who lifted the torn pieces of your heart that seemed beyond repair. I gathered the fragments into the palms of my grace and bound them together with my eternal love. You may not have seen me, but I was present in every tear, every labored breath, every weary morning when you forced your eyes open despite the weight in your soul. Now, as you turn back to look, I want you to see clearly. You are still here, not merely breathing, not merely existing, not dragging yourself through a storm, but living abundantly. You are not simply alive. You are seeking me, longing for me, lifting your eyes toward me. You thought the storm destroyed you, but in truth it stripped away what was not needed to reveal the strength I planted in you from the beginning. This is the mark of one who does not merely stand among the ashes, but who is called into a new journey, a profound transformation from what you thought was lost. Reflect, my beloved. If I could keep you through the longest nights, would I abandon you now, as the morning light breaks forth? Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. If I could raise you from the depths, would I let you fall while you walk upon this new path of hope? No, my child, I have begun a work in you, and I will be faithful to bring it to completion. The scars you carry are no longer signs of brokenness, but testimonies of my love covering you. They no longer remind you of pain, but proclaim that you endured, that you were sustained by grace. You are no longer a survivor. A survivor suggests frailty, one who narrowly escaped death. But an overcomer is defined differently. An overcomer is one who faced the storm, was beaten down, yet still stands by a power greater than themselves. An overcomer does not merely emerge from the battle, but emerges in glory with eyes ablaze and a heart set aflame. And that is who you are. You are living in grace, radiant in power, being transformed daily to reflect my image. Do not let the past define you. Do not let old wounds, past failures, or pain suffered become your name. The past may have left scars, but it does not determine who you are. I am the one who calls you by a new name, who speaks your true worth, who places upon you the mission I designed from the beginning. You are an overcomer, and nothing can alter that. Not because you are perfect, but because I am perfect within you. Not because you are strong, but because I am your strength. Among the ashes I have planted new seed. Amid what you thought had ended, I am beginning a new chapter. Every day you wake is not only proof that you are alive, but a sign that I am still writing your story. And this story is not of one who barely survived, but of a warrior who overcomes, a soul refined, a heart transformed to resemble mine. My child, when you look in the mirror, do not only see the weariness, the lines, the scars. Look deeper and see my imprint upon your life. You are living testimony to this world, that grace is real, that my love never abandons. Your very existence is a song of my faithfulness, a hymn of victory, a witness that even in the darkest night, light can rise and triumph. Lift your head high, my child. Do not call yourself a survivor anymore, for that is too small compared to the great purpose I have ordained for you. You were made to overcome, to walk from glory to glory, from strength to strength. What you have endured is not the end, but the foundation for a greater calling. And I, the one who kept you through every storm, will continue to walk beside you until the day you see my glory fully revealed in your life. My beloved child, incline your heart and listen closely. There are things in life I have allowed to happen not to crush you, not to make you fall, but to widen your heart for something greater and more enduring. I did not create you merely to taste fleeting comfort, surface-level ease that vanishes like morning mist. I created you for eternal maturity, for a depth that far surpasses what your natural eyes can see. If I gave you only what was light and effortless in exchange for weakness and immaturity, then that would no longer be true love. But because I love you too much, I could not allow you to remain in the narrow safety of comfort. I have called you into the deep, into places where even you feel hesitant to go, so that you may be forged into a soul both strong and mature. There are times you accuse me of silence. You sigh, you weep. Why, Lord, do you not answer? Why do I pray while the sky remains dark? You think silence means abandonment, but my child, it is not so. My silence is not me turning away. It is my way of teaching you to hear me in the depths, in the stillness of your soul. For when every external sound fades, when the clamor of the world is stilled, that is when your spiritual ears open to hear my gentle whisper. I never leave you. I am teaching you to discern what is my call and what is the echo of the world. My silence is a lesson, an invitation, a doorway into a hidden place where you and I draw closer than ever before. There are times when doors before you slam shut. You ache, you ask, why did this path end? Why did that hope vanish before my eyes? You believe your efforts have turned to nothing, your expectations to dust. But my child, I allow those doors to close, not to bring you despair, but to remind you that I alone am the door. When earthly doors shut, it is but a sign that your true provision is not in circumstances or people, but in me. I am the way, the opening, the one who, when you enter, gives you life and abundant peace. The closed door is not the end. It is my invitation to deeper communion with me. The losses you have suffered, the sudden turns that redirected your steps, the wide empty spaces within your heart, none of these are accidents. You thought they were cruel strokes of fate, random misfortunes of life, but in the reality of the Spirit, they are the very spaces I have prepared to fill with my presence. For if you never lost, you would never hunger for the new. If you were never redirected, you would not seek my guidance. If your heart had no emptiness, you would never allow me to pour myself into it. Believe that every seeming accident lies within the wisdom of my hands, and every place of lack will be filled with my inexhaustible life. My child, imagine a vessel. Already full, it has no room for fresh water. To pour in, it must first be emptied. In the same way, the losses you face are not meant to steal life, but to make space for new life to flow in. The old is removed, the bindings and burdens lifted to make room for peace, for love, for strength that comes from me. Do not see emptiness as abandonment. See it as the cradle where I place gifts far greater than you ever imagined. You have asked, why must I suffer? Why can life not be easier? But my beloved, unless a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it will never bear much fruit. That dying is for the sake of new life springing forth. Pain is not the sign of an end, but the labor pangs of a new beginning. I allow you to walk through breaking so that from the breaking I might remake you, broaden your heart, grant you a greater vision and a stronger strength. Every tear you shed I gather, every sigh you utter I hear, and I turn them into the material by which I build you, a child more mature, more profound, stronger than ever before. Let your heart rest in this truth. No loss is meaningless, no redirection is random, no emptiness is truly empty. Each is a stroke I have drawn into the grand canvas of your life. When you look closely, you see scattered lines, dark patches, empty spaces that seem without purpose. But when you step back, when you let my light reveal it, you will see a perfect picture where every gap is essential to the beauty of the whole. So do not fear the silence. Do not tremble before the closed doors. Do not despair in loss, and do not resist the empty spaces. All of these are but the prologue to a greater story. All are steps in the plan I have for you, a plan complete, good, and filled with hope. I have never left you alone. I am teaching you that I am the answer to every longing, every need, every emptiness of your soul. And when you see this, you will know my presence is enough to fill, enough to heal, enough to renew, and enough to lead you into the eternal life prepared for you. My beloved child, I have heard the whispers of your heart as you reproach yourself that you have not believed enough, that your faith is too small, that you should have been stronger and more steadfast. I know every tear you have shed, thinking you have failed in faith. But my child, I rejoice not in your doubts, but in the fact that you dared to face yourself in truth. For I do not seek children who hide their weakness behind walls of pride. I seek honest hearts, souls that bow low and confess, I need you, Lord. True faith does not mean you never doubt. True faith is not a fortress without a single crack. True faith is that even within the cracks, you still choose to turn back to me. You still come to me even when questions cloud your heart, even when your lips tremble as you whisper, Lord, I am weak. Help me. My child, that is faith. Faith that knows only I am able to hold you, even when your own hands tremble and lose strength. You often imagine that I require from you a perfect faith, flawless, unshaken, without stain. But the truth is far different. I do not ask you to build an iron wall and stand behind it in pride. I desire only a tender heart, one willing to open, willing to admit its incompleteness. For it is in surrender, in the very moment you admit you cannot stand on your own, that my strength finds room to pour in. My miracles are not revealed through perfection, but through surrender. When you think yourself sufficient, you leave no space for me. But when you recognize your emptiness, your inability, that is when I step in. I turn your helplessness into opportunity for grace to flow. I turn your trembling prayers into strength. I turn your weakness into testimony of my power. Do not be surprised that when you think yourself lowest, most broken, my presence is often most evident. For I do not wait until you measure up to love you. I come in the very place of your brokenness to mend, to heal, to transform. You still think I can only use those who are strong, steady, and complete. But no, my power is not poured out on those who claim to lack nothing, but on those who hunger and thirst, souls who know they must be filled. Remember this, vessels already full have no room for fresh water, but empty vessels, cracked and dry, are exactly where I pour my living water. And when I do, life overflows to all around. You are not disqualified because you have not measured up. In my eyes, none can reach perfection apart from the love I give. You need not paint yourself over to appear good enough. You need only to open your heart in truth. I am not repelled by your lack. Your lack is the cry that rises to heaven, drawing me close. I do not reject you for your doubts. I wait for you to place them in my hands, and when you do, I turn doubt into a stepping stone for deeper understanding of my mercy, so that your fragile faith may be refined and grow day by day. Understand this. In my kingdom, the standard is not your perfection, but my faithfulness. If I chose only the flawless, where would grace be? If I came only to the spotless, where would unconditional love be? It is precisely because you are weak, because you fall short, that grace is revealed as grace. And my child, this grace is not just sufficient for you. It overflows to cover every deficiency. So do not be ashamed of your weakness, nor condemn yourself for your doubts. Let them serve as reminders that you need me more. And remember, the hungrier you are, the more I long to fill you. The emptier you feel, the more I long to give. The more you see your imperfection, the more room there is for my perfection. Therefore, do not reject yourself, but bring all your lack to me. For in my hands, imperfection becomes beauty, weakness becomes strength, doubt becomes faith, and surrender becomes miracle. My beloved child, I know all that you have tried to hide, the things you long to forget, the shadows you have buried deep within, the nameless shames, the memories covered in the dust of time, the old wounds you thought had healed, but still ache from time to time. All of these lie within my sight. You imagine that I would be disgusted, that I would turn away, that I would reject you for them. But my child, I have never done so. On the contrary, it is precisely there, in the places you call ugly and dare not touch, that I most desire to enter. It is from those hidden corners that I begin my work of deep and everlasting healing. Remember, I am not a physician who only glances at the surface. I do not brush my hand quickly across and move on, leaving the bleeding wounds beneath untouched. No, my child, I work slowly, tenderly. I peel back each layer, untie every knot, touch the very depths of the pain you have locked away. I do not heal superficially. I do not cover wounds with a thin layer of sand. I heal truly. I restore wholly. And I do so until your soul is genuinely free, no longer bound by the memories of the past. That is why the process sometimes feels long, because I will not leave any detail of your heart unattended. Perhaps you have grown accustomed to hiding since childhood. You have learned to bury feelings, to build thick walls around your heart to shield your wounds. You thought that if no one saw, they would disappear. But my child, pain does not vanish simply because it is hidden. It lies dormant only to rise again and pierce you. But do not fear. I am not afraid to face what you conceal. I do not tremble before the darkness within you. I do not shrink back from the things that terrify you. For I am the light, and the light never retreats before the night. I see you clearly, wholly. Every moment you wanted to hide, every tear you swallowed, every time you forced a smile while your heart felt as though it was breaking, I knew. And never once did I stop loving you. My love is not pushed back by darkness, not weakened by what you have not yet overcome. I still love, still call, still wait. You may run, you may hide, you may weave countless disguises, but my gaze still pierces through. And that gaze is not filled with judgment, but with tenderness, compassion, and patience. My child, I have never been afraid of what you hide. These things do not drive me away. They draw me closer. For true love does not stand outside when it sees darkness. True love steps in, brings light, and transforms. I do not come to shake my head in disappointment. I come to embrace, to wipe away, to lift up. It is in the darkness that my light shines brightest. It is in brokenness that my healing power is revealed most strongly. You often think that I can only use you when you are clean, perfect, spotless. But I chose to love you and call you even while you were still in pieces. You think you must hide everything before you dare approach me. But my child, I have already seen it all. I knew before you spoke a word, before you chose to conceal it. and it is because I know that I can heal you truly. My light does not only shine upon the beautiful places. My light reaches even the deepest corners where dust and shadows dwell. Believe this, I will never abandon you halfway. The work of healing I have begun, I will faithfully complete. Every memory you thought would bleed forever, I will touch and turn into a mark of victory. Every shame you thought would imprison you for life, I will unbind and make into a testimony of grace. Every wound you thought would destroy you, I will heal and turn into a beautiful scar, a reminder that you have been redeemed. My beloved child, cease your running. Let me enter every room of your heart, even those you have locked for so long. I am not afraid of the dark. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. I am the light, and light never loses to darkness. Where I am present, darkness has no place. Where I step in, wounds lose their power. Where I hold you, shame dissolves. And when I call you, nothing can stop that love. My beloved child, sit with me and receive these words as a warm cloak laid gently upon your weary shoulders. When I look at you, I do not define you by your stumbles, by your awkward moments, or by the mistakes etched upon your path. I do not see you through the lens of fleeting seasons, nor do I allow days of sorrow or hours of weakness to overshadow the eternal portrait I painted of you before time began. In my gaze, you are not the sum of your failures. You are a warrior being forged, a seed destined to rise into a great tree, standing tall amid storms. I see in you a capacity, a seed of promise I placed within your heart from the very beginning, a resonance of eternal destiny that no one and nothing can erase. Let me speak in images your heart can recognize. I am like the potter standing before the clay. In my hands, dents and flaws are not incurable defects, but the starting point of beauty. The artisan presses, shapes, lifts, and lowers, sometimes pressing hard, sometimes pulling, spinning again and again. The process may seem rough at times, as though the clay might break apart, but it is precisely through these moments that the vessel takes form, slender at the neck, sturdy at the base, with lines and shape fit to hold and to pour. So it is with you. I use delays to mold you, obstacles to refine your nature, and through the furnace of trial, a new self emerges. Not perfect in empty terms, but perfected in purpose, beautiful in usefulness, steady in identity. Do not mistake delay for denial. At times you think that slowness means I have forgotten, that I am indifferent to your cries. But beloved, I work in another dimension, not by the clock of the world, but by the rhythm of grace. The pauses I allow are spaces I carve for you to grow, to learn patience, to discern, to keep faith even without signs. Waiting is not emptiness. It is the classroom where your faith is sharpened, where your heart learns surrender, where you entrust all into my hands. As the blacksmith pauses to cool the blade so it may be stronger, so I pause that your soul may be tempered and enduring. You may look back at your steps and see only detours, decisions that troubled you, mistakes that confused you, roads that seemed lost. But I turn every detour into correction. I do not brand mistakes as permanent stains, but as maps revealing where repair is needed. Each time you realize your error, each time you turn and repent, each time you choose again the right way, these are like careful stitches mending the great fabric of your life. In this, I weave into you a deeper stride, a weightier walk, not merely to survive, but to fulfill the mission I set for you. Trials are not signs of my absence. They are tools to place you into your rightful destiny. Do not let human judgment or your own reproach drown out my voice. When bitter words echo, when shame resurfaces, when you hesitate before the mirror, remember I see beyond all that. I see potential. I see eternal direction. I see the purpose I planted within you. I use the whole span of time, seasons smooth and seasons rough, to lead you toward a completeness not measured by the world, but by eternal love and wisdom. And this means nothing in my decree over you. Not circumstance, not criticism, not even your past. Think of the harvest in my garden. A seed must pass through many seasons before bearing fruit, and every season matters. There is a time to plant, a time to prune, a time to wait, a time to reap. If you looked only at one season, you would think the seed failed when no stalk appeared. But I know, for I ordained each season so roots grow deep and fruit turns sweet. So it is with you. There are seasons of pruning when I cut away excess, sometimes by closing a door, sometimes by separating you from someone, sometimes by leaving you with emptiness, so that you may realize you need me more. Do not resist the pruning. Partner with me. I prune so your life may ripen and scatter seed to others. You may wonder, if you are using trial, if you are shaping me, will I have the patience to endure? Hear me. I do not demand that you bear it alone. Your preparation is not a test to break you, but a journey I walk with you. Every step you take slowly forward, my hand steadies behind. Only when you trust that I am with you can you step free from panic and from abandonment, and walk in courage toward completion. Your hope does not rest on visible outcomes, but on the promise that he who began a good work will be faithful to complete it. Do not let fear blur the call within. Fear shrinks you back into the shadows, but I call you out into a brighter place, even when the path is not yet seen. Let my call sound louder than every doubt. You are summoned for a mission, to be light for others, to turn your story of overcoming into the material of salvation. What you suffer today will be comfort for another. The wounds you carry will become channels of my healing to water the hurting. I do not discard those pains. I draw from them a treasury of grace to give the world. And finally, my child, believe this with all your heart. I will bring to completion the good I have begun in you. No hand can undo it. I guarantee it by my very nature, by my unchanging love, by my eternal covenant. You are not only called to walk, you are assured that every step, every breath, every beat of your heart is woven into my design. Therefore, let your trust not anchor in your limited understanding, but in the all-knowing one. Keep yielding to me your flaws, your fears, your unfinished dreams. I will transform my eternal vision for you into reality, not by erasing hardship, but by turning hardship into the very stepping stone that lifts you higher. Lift your face, beloved one. Walk with the courage I give, with the hope I plant, with the certainty you are never alone. You are the target of my grace, the living witness of transforming power. What you now call delay, detour, and confusion will one day be remembered as the pathway into glory. And when that day comes, when my work is revealed in you, you will see that every pause I allowed, every correction I made, every moment I seemed to step back, all of it joined into a beautiful song, sounding the anthem of victory. You have not merely lived, you have overcome. My beloved child, open your hands to receive what I give, not as a burden to be carried in heaviness, but as a gift inviting you to live authentically, no longer chained by fear or the gaze of judgment. What I place in your heart today, is the chance to step out of a false comfort zone, to take responsibility for your life, but with a spirit of freedom. Freedom because you know you are embraced. Freedom because you understand the love that has set your steps upon this path. Do not see this as a test that makes you tremble. See it as a door opening toward a fuller life, a way where you are free to live true to the goodness I have already placed within you. Look upon yourself with the new eyes I long to give you, not measured by failure, not defined by whispers of doubt or the scorn of others. See yourself as I see you, my image etched in every feature, every breath. I have marked you with love that has never changed and will never fade. Instead of believing you are inadequate, receive my invitation to look through the light I offered, dignity restored, inner worth illuminated, and the quiet call in your heart growing clearer. When you recognize yourself this way, every decision, every step will be anchored in your true identity, not in standards imposed by others. Understand that the call you hear is not some invisible pressure, but a simple melody guiding you back to safety. It does not demand perfection, only sincerity. I invite you to live in the freedom of one who knows they are sheltered. Freedom to admit mistakes, freedom to rise again, freedom to love without fear of being wounded. The sacred life is not a string of hollow victories. It is the journey of a heart trained in grace, where each scar becomes a testimony of faithfulness and trust. My child, I want to grant you new eyes to see yourself, eyes that know compassion, that discern potential rather than rehearsing failures. When you look into the mirror, do not let flaws cloud the final image. Let that gaze recognize what I have planted in you, the power to kindle life, the capacity to forgive, the ability to share. From now on, let every step flow from the knowledge that you bear the imprint of the sacred, a gift inseparable from your very being. This is an invitation to act, not out of fear or the need to prove yourself, but from the deep conviction that you are chosen to bear witness to truth and love. Knowing you are profoundly loved bestows a quiet strength. It steadies you against criticism, against schemes meant to make you falter. When you grasp that my love enfolds you without condition, no judgment from outside can shake your inner foundation. You will not need to chase recognition from others, nor prove your worth through achievements or perfection, because you are already affirmed by an infinite love. Let this be the armor of your soul so that you may step into life with courage, not fear. You are called, but that calling is not merely a title or a rigid mission. It is an invitation to live fully in communion with me. Every name I give you carries a root of origin, not ambition, but a duty of love, a responsibility to care and to give. When you realize you are called, your actions take on greater depth. You will see that every small deed has value when done with a surrendered heart. Every gentle word can soothe another's wound. Every humble gesture can reflect my image to a thirsty soul. The journey ahead may be long, with stretches of fog where the destination is hidden. But I promise if you walk with me, you will never be alone. My presence with you does not erase hardship, but it transforms every trial into training ground. I walk with you through every rough path, lifting you when your feet grow weary, holding your hand when you lose your way. At times the darkness may seem thick, at times the noise of life may overwhelm, but even in that storm, I am the whisper guiding you. I am the refuge where you pause, breathe, and go on. My child, do not let the fear of loss paralyze you. Fear makes you cling to what is temporary. You hold on to relationships or achievements that no longer serve you just because you dread letting go. I want you to be brave enough to release what diminishes your soul's stature, to cut away useless ties so that growth may have room. Letting go is not defeat, but a courageous act that allows me to pour in what is new and deeper. Each time you release, you reclaim space for grace to fill. Each time you welcome renewal, you are cooperating with my creative hand. Let sacred values be your compass. Sincerity over flattery, humility over hollow glory, mercy over victories won by gain. When you live by these pillars, you will find yourself lifted into a new dignity, not given by the world, but bestowed by me. You will walk with a quiet rhythm full of confidence, not because you hold all the answers, but because you know who holds the future. And do not forget, the love I have for you is not a fleeting sentiment. It is an eternal covenant. In every moment you fell, I was there. In every moment you needed, I became the source. When you listen for the call, I answer by opening opportunities, by placing the right people at the right time, by leading you into circumstances that will shape your growth. I never abandon the plan of love I began in you. On the contrary, I continually work to bring that goodness to completion in each beat of your life. Walking in this assurance, you will learn to turn pain into lessons, temptation into training, and failure into stepping stones. Each failure is permission from me for you to grow in patience and reliance on higher grace. Each stumble is an occasion for healing, where you will see yourself not merely as weak, but as one embraced by mercy. Looking back, you will discover a trail of small miracles, bridges built one by one so that you crossed valleys you once thought impossible. My child, hold fast to hope and nurture it daily with prayer, with the intimacy of life with me, with allowing my word to illuminate each choice. Each morning as you rise, place your life in my hands. Each night before rest, give thanks for progress, however small. Do not let the world's gaze cloud your spiritual vision. Keep your heart open to recognize the call and ready to follow. In doing so, you are not merely walking a path. You are writing your own redemption story, one that I weave with you through love, patience, and faith. In the end, let what I give you be not a burden, but a joy, not chains, but wings. Live in the freedom of one who knows they are loved, in the courage of one who knows they are called. Walk with new eyes, a healed heart, and hands ready to receive whatever I place in them. Though the road is long and the details unclear, know this unchanging truth. I walk with you, and within this relationship, you will find the strength to live true, to love true, and to become the one I have envisioned since eternity. Not merely to exist, but to shine. My beloved child, listen deeply within your heart, for I know every trembling beat, every wave of confusion roaring like the sea outside. When you feel as though the whole world is collapsing, when all you cling to seems to crumble, remember this: I am still here. I do not change, I do not leave. I do not hesitate to stand beside you in your weakest hour. You do not need to wait until you find the answers, nor until your tears are dry and your smile has returned. In the very moment you are breaking, I already have my arms open to hold you. You think that to come to me, you must be clothed neatly, carrying strength in your step. But no, my child, I do not seek perfection. I seek the empty places, the cracks, the wounds still bleeding. For it is there that I can pour in healing, comfort, and peace beyond understanding. You need not paint over yourself, nor hide your scars or fragments of soul. I have seen it all. I know it all. And still, I love you with an unchanging love. When you struggle to make sense of hardship, when you wrestle with the haunting question, why? I do not condemn you. I understand your pain and your limits. But I want you to know this. You do not need all the answers to sit in my embrace. The questions may remain. The contradictions within you may not yet be resolved. And still, you may rest. For rest does not come when problems are solved, but when you know that I am with you. My child, let me be the place where you lay your head, the shoulder where you may weep, the arms where you may release your burden. Allow yourself to stop striving to be strong for a while. You do not need to prove to me that you can endure, that you can manage on your own. On the contrary, I invite you into weakness. I invite you to open your heart wide, to let the tears fall, to let the suppressed emotions flow. In that very moment, I can place in you a peace that no one else can give. You think your weakness will distance me, but no, it is in those very moments that I draw nearer than ever before. Like a father running to embrace his child when they fall, I come to lift you, to wipe your face and whisper, you are still mine. You are still beloved. You have never lost your worth in my eyes. You may blame yourself for confusion, for doubt, for trembling. Yet I see the courage in your turning back and your calling upon me, even when your heart is unsettled. Believe this, my child. I do not require you to be whole before coming close. My love is not conditional. It does not wait for you to reach a certain level before it is opened. It is the harbor where you may anchor when storms rise. I love you in your weakness and your falling, in the moments you think you have nothing left to give. You may see your broken pieces as useless, but it is through them that I touch you. It is there I perform miracles. At times you may cry out, Lord, I am too shattered. How can you use me? But my child, look closer. In my hands, even broken shards can be gathered into a vessel, a new, more beautiful, stronger one, bearing the beauty of love, mending its cracks. Nothing in you do I waste. No pain of yours do I despise. I use all of it, your joys and tears, your light and shadows, to weave a story marked with eternity. So let go, my child, of the burden you have held so tightly. You do not need to carry it all. You are not left to manage on your own. I never intended you to bear it alone. I long for you to hand me the chaos, the unanswered questions, the deepest fears. I am big enough for them all. You will never trouble me. This is what I wait for, that you may know you are never alone, that you always have a safe place. Picture this, my child. A child falls in the yard, scraped and weeping. They do not wait until they have cleaned themselves or bandaged their wounds before running home. They rush, broken and dirty, straight into their parents' arms, and the parents hold, wipe, and soothe them. So it is with you and me. I do not require you to heal yourself before coming near. I am the healer. You need not be perfect to be loved. You are loved even in your brokenness. You think brokenness is the end, but in me, brokenness is the beginning of a new process where you learn to rely, to trust, to let me lead. When all within you is breaking apart, it is then you most clearly see my hand. Do not fear the breaking, my child, for in my hands brokenness does not lead to ruin, but to new life. So when your heart wavers, remember I still stand here. When you are confused, know I am still with you. When you have nothing left to cling to, lean on me. Come to me even in your weakness, even in your fragments, even before the answers come. I wait for you not at the end of the road, but here and now. In this trembling moment, you are mine. You are loved. You are never alone. And in your brokenness, you will see a new light, the light of a love that never abandons. When doubt rushes in, when your heart can no longer tell what is real and what is imagined, when you question even the faith you once held, don't let those things pull you away from me. Don't let your emotions lie to you, telling you that you've strayed too far, that you're no longer worthy. You don't have to judge yourself so harshly. Come back. Return to me, not to be condemned, but to be healed. It is in those very moments when you feel the urge to hide because you think you're not enough that I most long for you to open your heart. I am not surprised by your doubt. I don't tremble when you say things your heart hasn't even sorted out. I already knew, and I am still here. When fear wraps tightly around your heart like invisible chains. When you feel too weak to face tomorrow. When even the light seems threatening. Run to me. I am not the place that makes you afraid. I am the place where fear is cast out. I do not turn away the trembling. I do not reject the overwhelmed. I am not bothered by your tears. I am not weary of your repeated stumbling prayers. On the contrary, I hear every whisper. I hold every tear. And I treat every sigh from your lips as a sacred plea. You don't need to run away when you feel lost. I am not the one who makes you afraid to come home. I am the refuge you can run to in every circumstance, with every condition of your heart. I am not ashamed of those who are struggling. In fact, they are the ones I love in the most tender way. I do not abandon confused minds, for it is in their confusion that I plant wisdom. I do not despise fragile hearts, for I have chosen the weakest to reveal my greatest strength. I am near to the brokenhearted, and I rescue the crushed in spirit, not only by my power, but through my gentleness. My voice is not hidden in some far-off place. It is not tucked away behind mountains or buried in mystical riddles. It is near, so near that you can sense it in this very breath. In every word you are reading. I am speaking right now, not only with words, but through the very presence I am pouring into your heart. Let these words do more than pass through your ears. Let them fall like seeds into the deepest places of your soul. Let them take root in the soil you thought was barren. Let them break the silence that darkness once built within you. When you feel like I am far away, remember I have not left. It is your vision that's been clouded by pain, by pressure, by things you don't yet understand. But I can wipe the dust from your mind. I can sweep away the dense fog that has left you disoriented. I can bring you back to clarity, to a place where you no longer grope your way forward in faith, but walk with eyes wide open. My truth is a lamp that never goes out. My word is a light that never dims. When everything else changes, that light remains steadfast, faithful, unshakable. I do not lead you through chaos. I do not plant confusion in your heart. That is the work of the enemy. He stirs disorder so that you'll question my voice, but I lead with kindness on level paths, even when they go through darkness. I do not play hide and seek with you. I do not cloak myself in riddles to test you. I reveal myself not to make things hard, but so you can know me, and in knowing me, know yourself. I do not come to bewilder you. I come to renew you, to turn trembling into steadfastness, to turn fear into peace, to turn doubt into living faith. I love you not with a vague, fleeting love that changes with the weather. My love is eternal, deliberate, and unmistakably clear. My love is not a passing emotion. It is your foundation. It does not tremble when you change. It does not retreat when you falter. It is a banner raised high over your life, not to boast, but to protect. That banner declares, This one belongs to me, and I do not revoke what I have spoken. So let this love be your refuge. Let it be your shade in the scorching heat, your shelter in the storm, your warmth when your soul grows cold. Let that love become the foundation you stand on, the compass you follow, the anchor that steadies you in the waves of life. Though the world may change, though the things you once believed may be shaken, my love does not change. My grace does not run dry. My truth does not waver. And yes, I am still yours, just as you are still mine, forever, unbroken, unmeasured, irrevocable, irreplaceable. All you need to do is come back. I am still waiting, and I have never stopped calling your name. Now with a heart laid bare and sincere, lift your voice to me without hiding, without holding back. Let every prayer become the true heartbeat of your soul. My beloved child, what you've just heard is not the end. It is a lifeline, a reminder, a call to return again and again. Each word I release here is not random. It is a seed planted for your next step, your next breakthrough, your next victory. Do not treat this as a single moment and walk away empty. Stay connected, subscribe, and come back with expectation, because the next word I speak here may carry the exact key you've been praying for. I am not finished with you yet, and every time you return, I will meet you here. Amen.